couldn't agree more.
Microbes.
We are maybe, please, we're maybe going on a mission to study a microbial seed bank on an ancient paleo lake that dried up many years ago, and it's incredibly salty, incredibly cold, and this bank of microbes has been desiccated on the shoreline for about, I think, 10,000 years. And the cells are still alive.
Say that part again.
I think it's so poetic that these cells were just waiting in the permafrost. And I think up until recently, people thought that they were dormant, which is a way that organisms can protect themselves when conditions get harsh. They become dormant. And
like a bear hibernates.
I think so. And I think a lot of people thought that that's what the microbial cells are doing. They're just dormant in this like cold environment. But Sarah Johnson discovered in one of her previous studies that there actually is a bit of signs of life.
Like, what would compel a modern woman to go to Antarctica and like look at these microbes that are buried beneath the ice? And
so I mean, Sarah is an old friend of mine, and I know she would probably fall into the category of someone who pushes their own boundaries and who has wanted to go to extreme places. Like, I think the first time she went to Antarctica, she was studying to be an astronaut, and she was already involved with the Mars rover mission with NASA. So it appears that of all the places on Earth, the dry valleys in Antarctica are the most similar environment to Mars itself. Yeah, the dry valleys, it hardly ever snows there, and like not at all. It's always below freezing, and not a lot has changed. Let's see, this is where my science falls short already.
It's extreme. It's like one of the most extreme places on the planet.
Right. So the fact that they have found life there is incredible, and it's very telling for what might be possible in outer space in terms of survival of organisms.
Yeah.
Like she found that there was a very low level metabolism happening in these long living viable cells, and she discovered that by one method. I think she found that there was respiration happening, like gas exchange, which shows that there's something living, and she also was able to show that they're alive by gathering their DNA and finding really long strands of DNA, which is unlikely to happen if you are dormant, because a dormant cell the DNA actually just kind of over time, like I mean time with a capital T, like time, over really large chunks of time. The dormancy model doesn't work that well because the DNA gets degraded by environmental factors, and so the DNA gets like chopped up and wrecked. And so the way to know that these organisms have been actually engaging in low-level metabolism is that their DNA is still really in nice shape. And so Sarah's theory is that they are repairing their DNA. They're actively repairing their DNA. So they are hanging out for thousands of years, but they're sort of doing the very minor maintenance that you could possibly do with the lowest level of metabolism, and it's just to keep their DNA nice and unbroken. So that ensures their survival for longer, that they're able to do that. And this is like what Sarah is studying. It's still kind of a mystery how they maintain. How do you think you're most like an explorer or an extremophile? I don't know if you've thought about it. But
I would say that can't really quell my curiosity, but it's like it doesn't really have like I would get super into drums, and then I got into animation, and I got super into philosophy, and then I got super into like romance and love, and like
so you get obsessed with
I just
one
keep
thing,
on
and then
finding,
you want to go to the very end. What that thing has to offer.
Yes, until it like causes some sort of detrimental harm to my psyche,
until it completely consumes you. Right. Well, in that sense, we're different as extremophiles than the actual extremophiles. Because the extremophiles, they do just fine. They can actually thrive in those extreme environments. It doesn't like destroy them.
Yeah. And our extreme, the extreme that I just gave is like falling in love too hard. It's a little bit different.
No, but that totally isn't extreme. I think for me, it's like self-expression. Like, I think I'm an extremophile when it comes to disclosure of things that are personal.
Okay.
Like, I want to get deeper, and I want the world to connect. I want people to connect more, and I'm always feeling like people aren't connecting more, and I feel like if they shared more, they would connect more, and if they were more honest and just feel like life is too short to not do that. And so I go to the complete edges where people feel really uncomfortable. Like, I'll go on stage and I'll tell people about my complete like insecurity in my personal life. And sometimes it really backfires, and I feel like it hurts me, but I'm obsessed with that. I can't help.
Yeah.
It's like something I have to do. I'm just wired to do that. So
is it too much to like ask for an anecdote, like share?
Well, no,
too
of course
much?
not. I would love to share. No. We're in a cafe that she's trying to get off the ground, and these extreme sort of conservative Muslims came out of their service at the mosque, and they were angry that we were drinking alcohol on their street. So they started shouting in Arabic and sort of surrounding the cafe, and they were really angry, but we didn't understand what they were saying. And they were mad that we were playing music too, but we kept playing, and then they got more and more angry, and then they went away for a minute, and they came back and they threw an enormous brick through the window at us. And like, we all thought it was a bomb, so we all like huddled in the corner of the cafe. And I was thinking like, okay, this would be a good time to like call it quits, but no. The musical leader like kept going. He was like, if we stop, they'll win. And I was thinking like, if they kill us, they win too. I was just a coward. I discovered in that moment like how deep my bravery is, and not very. No, I did sing it, and in that moment I realized like when you sing, you definitely feel better. Because I was really scared, but then when I heard my voice singing, I calmed down. I understand why people sing in like tense situations.
Wow, good story.
So, but they ruined the window. Like,
they ruined the window.
But it can really backfire when someone doesn't play that game, and they come up to you after the show, and they're like, "Are you okay?" and then it's like they're judging you, as if that was like a pathetic weakness of yours that you just disclosed all that, and then you feel like completely exposed and raw, and like they have you like in their hands, like they could crush you. It's not like it's a choice. Like the next day I'm going to get up again and do the same vulnerable thing because people are always telling me like, oh, you're so brave, but it's not bravery. I'm just compelled.
It's a compulsion.
It's a compulsion. Yeah. I find that interesting to think about when you think about explorers and people that go to extremes, and like Antarctica explorers. Like, why would you go to a place that's so inhospitable, right? It could be like a sign of insanity. And yet scientists in Antarctica discovered the ozone hole, for example, which made humanity sort of turn away from the brink. So they actually might have saved us all. We're driven to do it, and it's like we have to do it because we're humans, and it's part of our inquisitive nature too.
Yeah, and if you return from that, then you bring some of the most powerful gifts you can bring.
Yeah.
Back.
And if you don't return, sucks.
We're not the only kind of life on Earth that has been pushing itself to extremes. They're not, human extremes, but
yeah, right. It seems like it's almost built into life itself.
Yeah. To
push those boundaries that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Which I think is beautiful.
Yeah. Me too. The fact that it's these very long DNA strands of, genetic information keeping this thing alive. We have these long strands of mimetic of idea information through the sciences and through the arts and through our history as a species that are, for this brief moment, connecting and sharing information.
I love that. I love looking at the ideas as a kind of code, a kind of DNA code, like the ideas that make culture, because they, just like living organisms, they transcend the individual organism. They get passed on to 10,000 years ago when those cells were born. Like everything that
Yes.
led to this point, passing on of scientific knowledge and like
Yeah.
Galileo and all these sort of evolving ways in which all these ideas were born during the lifetime of the microbes that now are letting us study them in real time,
Yeah.
you know, in 2018 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the strongest hope that I have, and I wonder if they have it too, is that their discovery might be able to help save the biodiversity of our planet, and maybe alter the course of climate change in some small way or meaningful way.
I mean, it certainly could happen.
Yeah, that implantation of hope that they could bring back from that cold, dark, faraway place. The coldest, darkest, most faraway place we could ever get to on Earth.
Yeah. Well, that makes the scientists working in Antarctica even more admirable and even more extremophiles. Like, they're there anyway. And they're still studying what's happening, even though it's looking really bad. They're not like throwing in the towel and giving up, and they're hardy, just like the just like the microbes. They have they can find a way to keep hope in their hearts.
Yeah. And
against all odds.
Yeah.
I charted my course through fields of unfinished cathedrals to the pulsing, heady calling of the Southern Cross. I watched it pour like a flood on the surface of Lake Erie. Been talking to my GPS, I've been talking to God. I suspect it may be written in my blood, but these castles of sand will not stand beyond the winter. The crow flies and the trail of Evangeline. Maybe we wore our hearts too freely on the nights when we were touted on the marquees of that fleeting drop of time. So goodbye, Antoine Saint-Exupéry, and all you intrepid wanderers. Goodbye, Amelia and Hemingway, you broken-hearted explorers. Goodbye, Joan of Arc, you caffeinated warriors. Goodbye, goodbye to you.
Oh no, it wasn't recording.
Battery.
Oh no, at least we have the audio, right?
Yeah, we do have the audio. Oh, I knew I was going to do something stupid like that. I could sense it from the beginning.
I feel like our best stuff happened with Ben too.
I know.
Aww. Maybe it just crept out just cool. Hope, remember? Hope against all odds.
Hope against all odds.